I am a speech language pathologist, and I'll tell you originally why I went into this field was to help people and improve their quality of life. Louder?
No.
Louder. Who says louder?
That's just for people who are listening elsewhere.
Okay. So what I've been doing for the last 15 years is working with people with aphasia that have survived a stroke. And the last 10 years, I work down the road at LIU Post, and I supervise graduate students going to their master's for speech. Here's one of our former students who actually work with Peter, who will speak in a little bit. So I'm going to talk to you about aphasia, which I don't have to teach you guys. You guys are neurologists. You don't have to know that. Know about aphasia. I'm not going to teach you about aphasia, but there's a couple of things some points I want to really just drive home. Okay, why isn't that working? Okay, there we go. So, according to the National Aphasia Association, about 2 million people in the United States have aphasia. So, I'm going to ask you guys a question. Before you planned on studying medicine, has anybody ever heard of aphasia before? Most people haven't. I went to a conference a couple of years ago in Florida, and they had done research, and they went out onto the street, an average street, and asked people, have you ever heard of aphasia before? Most people said no. And then they asked, what do you think it is? And 90% of the people, and they asked like 200 people, 90% of the people thought it was some kind of skin disease. So, you know, it's really kind of sad when there's 2 million people in this country that suffer from this, and many people haven't even heard of it. It's actually more common than CP, Parkinson's, and MS. So according to the National Stroke Association, about 80,000 new cases each year. And about a third of those strokes result in people with aphasia. Stroke is the leading cause of long-term disability. Many people have that one-sided hemiparesis. Okay, so you know that it's an acquired neurogenic language disorder resulting from an injury to the brain. Typically the most common is in the left hemisphere, and then you have the right side of hemi, and your Broca's aphasia. It affects your spoken language, your expression, comprehension, spelling, writing, reading, at various degrees of all of those or just one of those. Often people have intact non-linguistic cognitive skills such as memory and executive functioning. Vision, you know, vision can be affected. You can have a visual field cut. But the most important thing, which you guys should know this, intelligence is not affected. And you know, when out there in the real world, when people don't understand aphasia, and you know, you go to a restaurant, you go to a store, people think there's, you know, something cognitively wrong with you, and we know that there isn't. And that's the difference between aphasia and dementia, which aphasia is the ability to access your ideas and thoughts, and dementia is your thoughts and your ideas are disrupted. So, right, Peter and Avi, right, what's so frustrating about aphasia is that you know the words that you want to say, and it just doesn't come out. You can't get those words out.
Correct.
And that's what is so frustrating about aphasia. So causes, the most common is an ischemic stroke, TBI, brain tumor, brain surgery, brain infection, and other neurological diseases like dementia. I actually have a new client I'm working with in the clinic that I just started with 5 weeks ago, a 50-year-old guy with brain cancer and has severe expressive aphasia. So basically, you know, you have a stroke, you go to the hospital, then you go to some short-term rehab. Medicare, if you're an older person, you have Medicare, they give you about 100 days in rehab, and then you maybe get home care for about 6 weeks, and then you're supposed to be good to go. But that's not really the case with most people. We talked about, so this Broca's, are you guys familiar with the types of aphasia? Okay, so, yes, no? Okay, yeah, so Peter, over here, I'll introduce you when they speak, but Peter has Wernicke's aphasia, and Avi has Broca's aphasia. So.
Just saying.
And then, you guys, are you familiar with PPA? That's been on the forefront in the last like 10 years or so, is sort of like this early onset. It sort of progresses into dementia, but it starts out as language-based. And we're seeing a lot more of that. And we have, at LIU Post down the road, we have an aphasia center. We have about 30 participants that come, Peter being one of them. And I can honestly say, out of those 30 people, there's not 2 people that are the same. Nobody presents exactly the same, even though they may have had the same type of stroke. My analogy to understand aphasia is that if you have a chest of drawers at home, and your drawers are all nice and neatly organized, you have a sock drawer, a t-shirt drawer, whatever the case may be, with aphasia, all those drawers are all jumbled up together. So it's a word retrieval problem. So if all those drawers are jumbled up together, how are they supposed to retrieve the words that they want to say? Let's see. Can they improve after the first few months? So this is interesting because I've talked to a lot of people recently, and you guys know about neuroplasticity, and it is a very, very real thing. However, somebody that I just left our aphasia program had a stroke about a year ago, so he's 1 year out, and his neurologist told him 1 year ago that don't expect to improve it after 6 months. You won't see any more improvement. And that's just not the case. So neuroplasticity is, you can improve over the course of your life. And with Peter, your first stroke was 5 years ago, and I would say in the last year, you've made the most gains.
Yeah.
So there's a perfect example of neuroplasticity. Okay, and Avi too, right? You still go for speech therapy.
Every day.
And you're still making gains. So what I think is really important for you guys to know is that, we gave this talk about 2 years ago at NYIT to medical students, and they had questions in that when you guys see a stroke patient in the ER and you're looking at their MRI or CAT scan, you're seeing maybe a very bleak picture. And most of the patients that I work with, their families have heard this from their doctor. Don't expect them ever to walk or talk or get out of bed. And, that's just a really defeatist attitude when, if you understand neuroplasticity, a better thing to say is if you're seeing them at their worst, so they're going to make gains, but you just don't know. Nobody has a crystal ball. So you're better off saying, we expect him or her to improve. To what extent, we don't know. But they need to continue. Avi's still going, you're still going for speech therapy many years post. They need to have that hope and the motivation and the drive and the determination instilled in them and not taken away. I think about if you break your arm and the doctor says, don't expect any more range of motion than what you have now. Would you continue physical therapy? Probably not. Versus, you know what, if you keep going for physical therapy, you're probably going to gain some range of motion. So it's the same type of thing. They need to be, you can't take away that hope. So insurance does not cover long-term rehab, so that's why you guys should know the resources that are out there, in that once they do that home care program, they're sort of now on their own. And you have to be kind of savvy to know what resources are out there. So that's why local universities all have, like Hofstra and Delphi and the Post, we all have a speech clinic where we do individual therapy. At Post in particular, we have an aphasia center on Mondays and Wednesdays for socialization. So whatever skills they're learning in individual therapy, they can now practice it in a group. Like I said, and so some strategies to talk when you're talking with somebody with aphasia is talk slow. Sometimes their processing is a little off. They may comprehend everything, but the comprehension maybe is a little delayed. Talk slow. Give them time to answer the question. Look straight at them. Using short sentences right, versus like a whole long thing, they can comprehend that better. Sometimes we always use our hands. It's just a natural thing from what I do for a living. So, if you want to say somebody, go over there, or let's go in the car, you add a gesture to it to help their comprehension. Drawing or writing, right? Like writing, when we write things for you, it helps a little bit to get that comprehension in there. And if you're not sure at somebody's level, yes, no questions are pretty much the way to start. Let's see. We provide a lot of counseling because many people are frustrated, sad, angry, and whatever other word they want to use, that life has changed so drastically. And they mourn what the life was before. Their independence, they were driving, they were working. And to understand that a stroke or aphasia does not just affect the patient. If you think and you drop a stone in the water, all those rings around the stone are all their neighbors, family, friends, co-workers, cousins, whatever. Everybody's affected, not just the person that had the stroke. So life is 10% of what happens and 90% of how you respond and react. So you had this horrible event that happened to you. How are you going to deal with it? Are you going to lay in bed all day, or are you going to be motivated to push yourself? Basically, so yeah, I just want to drive home the point of what to say to a patient in the emergency room. So don't ever say, don't expect your loved one to walk or talk, because how do you really know? Nobody really knows. So it's not just about the MRI and the CAT scan. So we see people at post from 27 to 82. And I will tell you, 3 weeks ago, a student, a master's degree student in our program, 23 years old, just had a massive stroke 3 weeks ago. She just got out of ICU. It was at Stony Brook. So 23 years old. So we're seeing it younger and younger. I work with a 26-year-old. We have a 27-year-old in our program. The next age is 31, and then it just goes up from there. So it's pretty incredible. And they range from being nonverbal to pretty fluent. So what I would like to say is, if you guys are really curious, interested, whatever, I really invite you. You guys are welcome to come and observe at our Aphasia Center. It's Mondays from 10 to 2 and Wednesdays from 10 to 12 to see people with aphasia enjoying life, interacting, living life. And that's it. Any questions? So who's going next? Okay, so Peter, Dr. Peter.
Is my thing up?
You're up. Oh, I've got to find it. While they're setting it up, let me give you a little spiel about Dr. Peter. So Dr. Peter is a pediatrician who had his first stroke 5 years ago, second stroke 4 years ago, and when I first met Peter, he's a fluent aphasia. There were no real words that came out of his mouth. He would talk, he was very fluent, but he had no clue what he was saying. And it was very difficult. We would write things down because he was able to read, and we would write things down like, we would see him on a Monday morning, and we kind of just assumed he was telling us something about his weekend. So we would write down, are you talking about your family, or your weekend, a friend, and he would be able to circle the answer to just clue us in. To fast forward now, Peter is going to tell you a little bit about himself.
Okay. I'm Peter Inguagliato, MD, and it's the first 5 years. My name is Peter Inguagliato. In 2014, I suffered a tear in my left carotid artery, which left me paralyzed and speechless. Fortunately, I made it to the hospital in time to receive EPA. The motion on my right side has returned, but I was left with aphasia. I live in Huntington, New York with my wife, Rosemary. I was a pediatrician and have a private practice in Great Neck, New York with William Gerber, Carrie Merkin, Hyde Russ, and Karen MD. These are all people who were, they were all, at one time it was me, before my first time of the aphasia. And I had been an attending at North Shore, Long Island Jewish in Manhasset for over 40 years. I went to medical school in Bologna, Italy. I lived there for 5 years while studying medicine. While living in Italy, I met my wife, Rosemary, who was living in Florence while studying art history. My wife, Rosemary, and I have been married for 47 years. We have 2 children, Noel and Elizabeth, and 4 grandchildren. This is my family. We have so many good times together and vacation together often. Is it a 4? 4 kids. I have 4 grandchildren, Liliana, Sophia, Eliana, and Juliana. Since my stroke affected the left side of my brain, the speech center of my brain was affected, locking up my words. It can be very frustrating, but I am still me. My intelligence was not damaged, and my words are slowly becoming unlocked with the help of excellent speech therapy at LIU, which I intend to continue. Thankfully, I feel good physically and continue to enjoy so many things. Now that I am retired, I enjoy many activities in my downtime. I enjoy playing golf. I read with the help of a reader. I've always loved to garden. Now I have spent even more time perfecting my green thumb. I have taken painting classes. I have inner talent I still didn't know was there, and I am quite good. I love to swim. It is a great workout. I also enjoy the beach with the great kids while on Florence on vacation. One of my favorite activities is to spend time with my grandchildren, watching them grow and play. This is my entire family. We are doing what I love to do best, spending time together. I am taking a trip to the Netherlands and Belgium later this month, and hoping to Cooperstown to the Baseball Hall of Fame in the fall. This is our group. As you can see, you can still enjoy life with aphasia. I do not let it stand in my way. Thank you for your time and attendance. And that's it. That's it? Okay. Ready? Go.
Hello, how are you?
Hi.
What's going on? So I have aphasia now. No, doesn't know I have a stroke. But 11 years, I was a paramedic. About 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And afterwards, I was working and was riding and passing for critical care and then later flight paramedic. So, and it's fantastic, like really fun and exciting and stuff like that. Full-time at North Shore LIJ, or Well Health, whatever. Yeah, whatever. and then part-time at Columbia Presbyterian. But also there's a lot of stuff. Manes, Rosa, Victor, and stuff like that. And also before that I was living in Israel, studying for 3 years. But in the evening I was going to Magen David Adom to write as well in ambulance as well. My mother is Israeli, so I understand Hebrew and English. But after the stroke, I understand Hebrew, but I don't speak, read, or write, except like 1 or 2 words. So it's really cool. And then I was going to go to medical school, but first of all, my father has AV valves or prolapse. So I have hereditary. I have AV valve as well. So I say, you know what? I'm going to go before medical school, so it's surgery, and do it, and then go to medical school afterwards. In the surgery, I had a stroke resulting in aphasia, so I like it a lot. 1 year, all I can say is Michael. I have no idea still today. What is Michael? I have no idea. But everybody is like, whoa, what's going on? Who is Michael? And I say, Michael, whoa. Whatever. But it's really cool. And then hemiparesis. So my 4 months I was in the hospital in the bed because my arm and my leg is hereditary, is hemiparesis. But OT and PT and speech pathology took care of me and is very, very good. So 3 months in the wheelchair, in the thing, and then 6 or 7 months is in the cane. And I will show you the cane, but and then no cane. But again, everybody is different. So 2 months at Columbia Presbyterian, maybe not, who knows, and then North Shore LJ Columbia Presbyterian, and then yeah. So again, I have broca aphasias. Basically, I understand basically 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 95% ish, and 5% ish I don't understand, but I say do it again. Switch with me. Do it more. I forget which one. Yeah, go ahead.
So for somebody, if you don't understand what they say, they should say it differently, maybe a little more simple
Correct.
and slower.
But yeah. So, but also I always learn 4 days a week to work, because, so 1 year old because it's Michael and now is slowly getting improved every day, so it's very, very good. So, but basically everything is frustrating because I have like names, numbers, reading, writing, listening, it's like long list of names, and I have no idea what's going on. So, but help me like hear the first sounds or commanded cues. Nuance Dragon. Did you know Nuance Dragon as well in medical school? Okay. So basically, I will show you. It's awesome. Just saying. Or not. Okay. So this is my keyboard, but after the stroke, I don't have the capability to keyboard. So Nuance Dragon is right there. So I speak, and Nuance Dragon listens and writes. Yes, say Michael, and you can pass around. So it was really cool. And also, Lawrence is a speech pathology. So it's okay. Go ahead and pass around. But is okay to speak with this one right there?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead. To speak with.
Oh, I read it. Oh, okay.
Thank God.
Alright. When
Michael.
a person with aphasia is robbed of their speech, one of the first things I teach them is a different way to tell their family, I love you. I ask them to squeeze my hand 3 times. I tell them, when you can't use your words, this is the way that you can tell them know that you love them. Let them know.
Yeah, something like
So
that.
let them know that you love them. Okay.
Thank you very much. But it's powerful, right? I mean, for me, it's powerful, and whatever. Everybody is different. But yeah. So 4 months I was in the hospital, and I don't go to the website. but I was going to the website in the home, my home. So again, a lot of people who has aphasia don't realize or don't care what is website. So thank God for me and a lot of people. I love websites, so it's really cool. So like National Aphasia Center, a long time ago is in New York City, but now it's in Virginia. Adler Aphasia Center, same thing as LIU, same idea. So I go to Adler Aphasia Center. Sorry. Mona Greenfield is a speech pathologist, so I go twice a week. And then ARC is Aphasia Recovery Connection, ARC. So a lot of people, it's I think 7,000 people, either people with aphasia or people with speech pathology, sorry, or friends or family, whatever, have a good time in ARC, which is really cool. Sorry. Harvey Alter, unfortunately he passed away, but he was after the stroke, he goes, sorry.
Do you want water?
Yeah, I think so.
I cold water. Soda water.
Oh, water is fine. Thank you so much, I'm sorry. So he goes to the hospital and he says, okay, the language is gone, but the music is there, so I want to sing. So the hospital says, all right, sing with you together. So now he, International Aphasia Movement, a lot of people go twice a week, 4 days a week to sing the song in speech pathology. So it's very good. Sorry, thank you so much. So good. University of Michigan, so 1.5 years after the stroke, I went to University of Michigan, 6 months into the program. It is very, very good. And then Bill Connolly is a speech pathology, so I go Skype with him for 1 month. Every day, 1 month, every 1 month, 1.5. Yeah, so good. Okay, do you have any questions or no? Okay.
I don't know if any one of you can answer this question. Can you tell us, I guess, some of the struggles or challenges that you've gone through? Emotionally.
So, all right, so I was in the hospital at North Shore LIJ, Columbia Presbyterian, and I cried for 3 days, 2 days, 2 weeks, and I cried because it's no speaking, no arm, no legs. But then in my head, I said, you know what? I want to fight, and I want to go to medical school more, like really more. So for me, I like it because it's. I like to go to medical school, so I'm gonna try. But in the future, now I am speaking with a speech pathologist together with EMS or hospitals to speak about aphasia. It's very, very good. You understand? Okay.
Struggles. How has it been hard for you? How has it
It
been
is.
hard?
What is speak?
How has this been hard?
It's harder because it's the worst time. The first eight or 9 months of 2014 were on our hardest band for me, because in the beginning 2014 I had no weakness. I was weak of my legs, my arms, and we were out of the house. We were gone for about 8 months, and I was back to being better than I am now. But I had no words, and it was so difficult for me to understand better than any understand from anybody. And it was so difficult for myself to be a pediatrician, to learn in this hospital. This was my hospital, and to have to be every day to have those babies every day and to not have that sign was hard. And but my strong said, okay, you got to keep it going. You got to keep it going, and it just helped. And with the help of LIU and with it's tremendous help for myself and for us. It's been better. I think it's helped a good deal.
Yeah,
For us.
and I think, you know, for you, I think that loss of identity.
Well, he defined himself by his job.
Yeah.
So he worked 60 hours a week.
Because no doctor did.
Right, as you all know. And he had worked 12 hours that day, and he was in perfect physical health. He didn't smoke, hardly drank, and, you know, and so went down. So that's another point. I mean, just, there was no history. There was nothing. He just went down. So I think that was the hardest thing for you, is having to now stop working, and now what?
Yeah.
And also, I think it also affects the relationship with my mother. You know, it's difficult to do the dynamic.
My mother was terrific. She was fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think, you know, you talk about loss of identity, which, you know, like you said, that's how we define ourselves, kind of. And also, loss of independence. You know, if Peter's driving, Avi's driving. There are plenty of people that, you know, are not driving and they never will. And that's just, you know, think about your independence.
I think the other point I would say also for you is when we were here in the hospital, neurologists were fantastic. I don't know if you know Paul Wright. He's not here anymore. But,
But the right.
I bowed down to him. I actually found him at 1 o'clock in the morning in the hallway, and I recognized him through the website and begged him to take us on, and he's incredible. But as a whole, I don't think the department knew about resources about what to do after. So it was, so I think Avi obviously did a tremendous amount of research, mostly on your own though, would you say? And we did too as a family, all of the resources of they want to make sure you're alive, that you're healthy, and then know what. So I think we would appreciate a little bit more guidance on that.
And also, I forget, this is in the hospital, in the ambulance, a lot of people with aphasia, people with speaking, not speaking. So I will show you a lot of stuff.
And you have to use pictures, at least in the beginning, or, you know,
And you can,
pass that around.
I can pass you around. Something like that. Anyway, so then, you know, after the stroke, it's like, hey, what's up, bud? Or Michael. And I did not know that, but a lot of people come and have a good time with like friends and family, and if somebody take a picture and send me, and I say, what is that? Oh my God, it's dripped down. I'm like, what? And I did not know that, but thank God I'm smart. It's good. And then I like sushi a lot, so Susie bought me a ton of the sushi, and I gobbled up, and now I'm fat, but it's yummy. And then after the stroke, I write a lot, and it's really garbage. And I tried, a lot of times I tried, so yesterday I tried and no, not succeed, but
It was pretty close, though.
yeah. And then North Shore LIJ. 1013 in New York City is help, like with EMS or hospital, EMS or police or firemen. So, so a lot of people, workers, paramedics, police, firemen, with friends with me, or hospitals like doctors and nieces who is friends with me, and friends, family, and stuff like that. So like workers and stuff like that. And then Susie Battle was awesome. And then also is right there is a cane. So is a cane. So 4 months I was in the hospital and I go home. So I say, you know what, I really want to, I don't understand what is aphasia. I mean, I do understand it because I was a paramedic, but I don't really understand and I don't care. But then, you know, I have a stroke, so I say, you know what, I want to go to Gloucester and see what, and I in the Gloucester, I I saw 4 words: difficulty naming object character. And I say, what the, what? Like, that's crazy. So thank God, I called or emailed, and I say it's okay to speak with EMS or the hospital about aphasia with a speech pathology, and a lot of times they say, yes, come and speak. So 2-3 years ago, right, you and me?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. You're really cool. And then also, I like Bronxu a lot, so I go a lot because it's really fun. I mean, sorry, do you like Bronxu? Okay, good, because it's awesome, right? So, yeah. So a lot of people and me went to Bronxu, and I was a passenger, and I see the ambulance, North Shore LIJ. It says, ooh, Michael, stop! Michael, ambulance, stop! So somebody will stop, and I huddle up and say, Michael, hello! And Mike and Danny is a long time ago with me together, and say, hey, how are you? Nice to see you. And I say, Michael, awesome! Michael! So it was really cool. So
Maybe
yeah,
that's where you got Michael from, after you had the stroke.
maybe. Who knows? And then, so the National Aphasia Center, Elaine Gansry is her president, but also is the speech pathology. And Stephen Symbolic speak with EMS, police, firemen, hospital as well, to talk about aphasia. And then 1 or 2 people who have aphasia speak about their story. So like, for example, North Shore LIJ or Columbia Smithtown USA or New Jersey City Center. But also I fly or I drive a lot, and I spoke with a speech pathology. So, for example, University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, Michigan, same thing, or Suffolk County, or Finney, or in Yerushalayim. Last year, I went to speak with Magen David Adom, who speak about aphasia, but also doctors and nurses and PAs as well. So, North Shore LIJ ER, or Columbia Presbyterian Rehab Program, or John Hopkins, or in Israel, again, sorry, Tzedek is hospital as well. Yeah. And then, oh, look at that. It's there. So basically, Gail and Peter, I'm so sorry.
Don't even.
Okay, good, thank God.
It was out.
So funny.
Yeah, so it's really very, very cool. And then also a lot of people who have aphasia speak about their story. So a lot of stuff with OT, speech pathology student, or OT student, or PT student, and stuff like that. And last year, I went to travel to Las Vegas, Los Angeles, to speak with Dr. Peter, sorry, again, long name, is stroke rehab. So they spoke, I and Speeder, at spoke with radio or TV to speak. So it was really very, very cool. And then Asha, 2 years ago again, I spoke with Asha, and I spoke with like 5,000 people, and it's really like frightening, but it's really cool. And then I also speak, I go to speak, not speak, to learn, to go to people with aphasia or people with stroke, and I speak about my story, and is together, like is together, right? Sorry, do you understand? Yeah. All right, cool, thank God. All right. Then Dr. Peter Flufflo, okay, a long time ago he's an actor, and then he has a stroke. So he spoke about his story in the radio, not the radio, the TV, movie. So now it's go to Aphasia the movie and buy or whatever and have a good time. It's funny, very, very funny, but one or two is sad for me, but it's really cool. And then Chappelle Chase, again, is a director a long time ago. He has a stroke now, and aphasia, but before he speak with Hillary Clinton. Wow. But,
I just wanted to add something about the movie. Carl McIntyre made this movie, he had a stroke, and I think in about 18 months, he pretty much recovered, pretty close to 100%. And that's what the movie is about, his recovery and the success that he's had. However, not everybody has that story, so like I worked with somebody opposed, and her and her husband went to the showing of this in the city, and came back and said, great, okay, well she's at 12 months post, so in 6 months she'll be fine, right? And so it's, you know, it's not always just a realistic thing, and people see that and they, you know, think that's going to be them and compare, so it's tough.
then I like to do a lot of things to do, like skydiving or bungee jumping. Now, no jumping, I don't like bungee jumping, but snowmobiling. Skiing, snowmobiling. Do you like snowmobiling? Do you like anybody else?
Snowboarding?
Or skiing?
Yeah.
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 And it's awesome. And everybody, please come. Just try. It's awesome. Just saying.
Scooping is good.
Scooping is good. You know, stuff like that. So it's really cool. So before the stroke, I was paramedic. And after that, I don't have the paramedic, but I really do enjoy it. So I was writing and passed. So basically, 4 years after the stroke, I am working, not volunteering. Is volunteering and have a good time. So it's really very cool. So please email me or call me or whatever. And that's it. So any questions or comments or stuff like that? Gail?
So I have, so Avi just shared with me that he's thinking of going back on his path and taking the MCATs.
And I'm failing, but that's okay.
And not failing, be optimistic, have the hope. So thinking of taking the MCATs and trying this again, so what do you guys think?
I'm good to go. Yeah. And so, okay, so you don't have any questions, that's fine, but is it okay to take a picture together and post? Yeah?
Awesome.
I'll take it. I'll do it.
Yeah? Whatever? That's fine. Thank you. So, how about this one?
Were you on your first year or second year?